All right, good morning, gang. I hope you can hear me. I pray that you can hear me. I was trying to get this thing ready last night. Did a couple of tests, and I think I got it, but I'm not sure. My name is Evan Rhodes. Welcome to my channel, What's Your Fuel? And I'm pretty new to this game, but I'm excited to do it and get it started. And it is 8 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. It is January the 3rd. And I wanted to do a show with a launch. With this launch, I wanted to do kind of a show, hopefully bringing some guys, people out there, value in the things that I learned over the past year and the things what I'm doing now, and also what's coming up, what I kind of see and predict for the future. So the focus of this channel is kind of it's all over the place, really. Um, I wanted to do something that brings value to men and women, and showing the differences between men and women and how to avoid some of the pitfalls, as well as um, help people and teach guys in particular how to become healthier, more fit as they age, and then how to maintain those results over time. So anyway, let's get on with it. So 2020, what a year! What a year! It was for me. It started off where it was a good, I was excited for 2020. I think a lot of people were excited for 2020. I went to go see my daughter up in Spokane, and this is one thing. And going up there, lots of excitement. My relationship with her has been kind of up and down over the years. It was a pretty non-existent relationship, to be honest, all the way up until she was about 16. Because what happened was I knocked her mother up when I was um, up in uh, up in Arizona going to school, and it was just a really fast thing. It's like a just started dating her. She got pregnant. We got pregnant, and then a baby came out of it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna quit school. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna marry this girl. I started working 3 jobs up there. I want to marry this girl. I want my daughter to have a legitimate dad. Um, my girlfriend at the time was like, you should man up and do all this stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. That makes sense. It's what it was what I was taught. My mom told me at the time, and this is like one of the first times I ever listened to my mom, and she in my life, and she said, "You will marry this girl." My dad, on the other hand, was kind of his position was, "You can always come back here. You can always come home." Everybody except my mom really was like, "You will marry this girl." I think they all kind of saw the writing on the wall. So it was like not a good idea to marry this girl, but I had never been married before. I was 27. I was 27 at the time, and felt like, you know what, I can work, I can make this happen. I want my daughter to have a legitimate dad. I'm going to make this happen. So we got married. I think my wife was probably about maybe her 6th month in. We got married right away, shotgun marriage, big wedding. It was all mostly her family side. Her mom wanted a huge wedding. So it was like, if I recall right, it was about 300 people. Um, we had it up in San Francisco, flew my parents up there, my family, a couple of my close friends. So about maybe not even 10 of us. And the rest was, but that's okay. It was a pricey wedding. Um, and this is all way back then, leading, just kind of prefacing my relationship, right, with my daughter. So the marriage lasted a total of about 2 years with divorce time in there. And to make a long story short, there was no medical coverage in Arizona. And I knew that with Hawaii's Union State, that I could get medical coverage for the family by moving back to Hawaii. And if they came with me, or when they came with me, like my ex-wife said she would, then I could have coverage. I could work 1 job, and I could provide. So the plan was that I would move over, and then she would follow. So she didn't follow. Long story short, she ended up marrying her divorce attorney and then moving to Spokane, Washington, which was like, and then I, with the divorce and everything else, with child support and everything else, it was brutal. So my relationship with my daughter was non-existent up until she was about 16 or so. I never really got any pictures. I paid my support, and it was a tough time. All those years of like, there was never a day, hardly a day now that I don't think about it. My daughter, don't think about my ex-wife at all. But my daughter, yeah, it's really, really, to this day. But so I'm gonna get to this. So I went to go see my daughter. She's now 25. She's still living in Spokane. It takes me just as long to fly to Spokane as it does to fly to or travel to like Thailand. I gotta fly to either Portland and then drive like 5 hours to Spokane where they are, or fly the 5 hours, 5.5 hours, or whatever it is to either Portland or Seattle, and then either drive or fly. So if I fly, it takes, I gotta spend a night. They don't have connecting flights, so I gotta spend the night, and then so it's a deal to go over there, and it takes a lot of time. So anyway, I went to Portland, and then I drove to go see my daughter at the end of 2019. No, yeah, at the end of 2019, because I wanted to be there for her birthday and going into 2020. So when I got there, super excited to see her. It had been, gosh, how long was it? It was probably at least a couple of years since I had last seen her, and our relationship was okay. And so I was super excited to see her. We're supposed to do a bunch of stuff, go skiing, do all kinds of stuff. And you know what? It wouldn't have made a difference really if we had done any of that stuff. Just to go see her and to be with her for a day would have been awesome. So I went up there. My plan was to stay there for 2 weeks. And what I quickly realized is that although the excitement was great, it was really only off of one side, off of my side. And I found out through that experience where her priorities are. And it's okay because it's her priorities. Were much different from what were mine are. So with the holidays and her birthday and New Year's, what I learned was that I would fall probably like in the fifth realm, fourth or fifth level. So it'd be like, mom, boyfriend, mom, job, me, something like that. And that was in precedence of time and what I conceived, which is okay. Because like I said, if I had seen her for one day, I would have been happy. And that was pretty much it. I mean, I saw her. I was looking at a bunch of real estate up there. I was thinking about buying a piece of property up there. So I would spend my days looking at properties, going to train jujitsu. I have met a couple of people up there. Now they're friends of mine. So if you guys are watching, thank you so much for helping me, train and stuff. But I was up there and learned quickly after the first week that the priority definitely wasn't me or us spending time. Hold on. Us spending time together. So that after about a week of that, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna leave. So on New Year's Day, I told the Airbnb lady I'm out, and I started, and then said goodbye to my friends at jiu-jitsu, gave them some of my product that I had over there for my business. And then I started my drive back. And as soon as I started my drive back, I got a text message. A lot of the messaging and stuff that goes back and forth between my daughter and I is text. And I guess that's a generational thing. But whatever, it's all good. And I told her, I decided to drive back to Portland. And mind you, I was very happy with that decision because I wasn't bummed about it. I wasn't, I just realized, okay, after 25 years, I finally was able to let go. So that was one of the things I learned in 2020. That was the beginning. That was the beginning of it. And I remember driving back to Portland feeling like, wow, like a weight had been lifted off. I was super happy. And at the same time, I kind of felt like, man, a little bit guilty because, she's my daughter, and but on the other hand, I was like, you know what? I cannot control what a grown woman will do. And I was like, wow, this is good, actually. So then I went to Japan, then I went to the Philippines. I spent the other week traveling around. So the first thing I learned in 2020 is to let go. That was the first thing. Um, and during this whole time too, 25 years, I had been, so right after my first marriage, uh, so yeah, right after, so I got divorced and then I got remarried like right away. And that in itself, you guys, is a whole nother story for another day. But I'm going to mention it here because I did learn from that as well, that whole process, because I'm currently almost completed with that divorce and I am feeling liberated, man. And the process has been long. Like gosh, man, it's been almost 2 years now. We've been going through this divorce, and this is a divorce that has been um, it would have been very, very easy had my wife just said, you know what, let's just split. Because we don't have any kids. With my current wife, I don't have any kids. We have a couple of pieces of property. We could have just sold, split, done deal. So what I learned with her is that throughout all these years of marriage, it's really been about provision and money, and so what I learned and I'm still learning right now. I'm learning every day, but in 2020, what I learned was, one, to let go. Two, to just like, I cannot control the outcome of other people's greed. So if they're going to be greedy, I just have to stick to my truth and to do whatever it is that I feel is right for me. Because for my whole life, and I'm 53 years old, I had been living for somebody else's like cause. You know what I mean? For not the whole thing, but I mean, it took on a whole different level of meaning this time. And I had learned much about myself. So one, divorce. Two, I won't even get into this, but there was some very, very big disappointments that happened during that time. And the other thing is, I learned who my true friends are. So they've said, I don't know who the author or the speaker or the public figure was that said, through hard times, like when you lose everything, you really find out who your friends are. And so there was a time where I was here living in this place, in this condominium, and I had a plastic, this is in 2020, I had a plastic table, my office chair that I'm sitting on right now, my computer, um, one fork, one spoon, two cups, a bowl, and a plate, and my Herbalife stuff. And that's it. That's all I had for most of 2020. I recently got all this stuff out of our other house. And that was because we have to sell it now. My wife, I stopped paying half the mortgage and half the maintenance fee because I'm not there. So I just said, you know what? I'm not paying. So now it's behind and now we have to sell. So we're gonna sell. And hopefully the same thing happens over here, although this is paid off. So that's another thing I learned, is that like I really found out throughout this hardship and these kind of like personal crises going on that I can't control people. Two, I really learned who my true friends are. And now loyalty is a big deal for me. It really is. Like without loyalty and commitment, if I'm going to be loyal and commitment or committed to something that's universally and joint between people, it has to be reciprocating. It has to be. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And dragging people along is not my cause anymore. That's just having people along for the ride, riding off of success is just it's a waste of energy, really, and time. And I don't have time or the energy for that shit anymore. So that was another thing that I learned. Um, and then to through all of this stuff, so feeling good, like letting stuff go, um, knowing that I really can't control people, learning who's loyalty, learning about loyalty and commitment, integrity, not just from people but within myself was good. Um, I started like lifting again, like pursuing excellence for myself and creating my own personal frame of reference. So that has helped kind of liberate me as well. So before I would lift because of sports, or I would exercise or train or get outside because it was exercise. It was exercise, and I was either training for sports, I felt like I was getting too fat, and I would just start doing that. But the incentive wasn't necessarily for my health, although that was like the benefit of it. It was either to make a team, so that we could go fast or perform well, or for or to get girls, and what I learned was I don't give a shit about the girls. Now it's just it's like I exercise because I enjoy it. And I've always loved hard work. I've always been kind of a manual labor kind of a guy mentality. And so I've always loved lifting, wrestling, running, like any kind of physical stuff, water sports, surfing, whatever, anything active, pretty much. I've always really enjoyed it. But now the difference is I do it for me, like to maintain a healthy body, healthy mind, healthy spirit, so that I can go out and roam the planet and just enjoy life more, to have better awareness, just all of these things I really learned in 2020. And so I didn't even touch on the pandemic yet. I mean, that to me was more a lesson in learning about how other people respond to stuff, because I was going through all this other stuff. I live alone anyway. So I didn't really care about the whole pandemic thing. It it didn't matter to me. I mean, they locked us down. I'm like, okay, I'm home alone anyway. And so I and my team, we started doing virtual workouts and yoga. Those continue to this day. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, virtual workouts and stuff, we do that. So we started doing that kind of stuff, but even that was an exercise in creativity. So the creative part of this business and me and our team and what we do was instrumental in 2020. Loyalty, because these people were loyal. We got stuff done. We got creative. We started doing a bunch of new things that we hadn't done before, and it was fun. So the whole pandemic situation, they locked us down. So the first lockdown was like tight. I mean, there were no cars outside. It was crazy. It was as if we were back in Hawaii in 1970. There was just not a lot of traffic. The roads are empty, no traffic on the freeways during rush hour. It was amazing. I loved it. Yeah, I could hear the birds again. The ocean was getting clean. They locked down the beaches too, so nobody could go. So I was just like, you know what? I'm by myself. So if you want to arrest me for going body surfing, so I would just go, and nobody bothered. But I think that first lockdown was awesome. Actually, I mean, it was fantastic. It was the best time of 2020, in many ways. Not in all ways. I mean, people were dying, and that's tragic, and I think my own perspective of the pandemic, I think it's a real thing. I just think it's been over publicized. I think there's a lot of fear mongering in that stuff that gosh, for the whole world to be shut down and global economies to be shut down, when there was no real science behind a lot of it, is what I guess we're learning now, is what I'm learning now, is sad. So anyway, getting back to my 2020. So the 2020 that I experienced through that realm, that prism of the whole global deal, um, wasn't that bad. The first lockdown was tight. After the second lockdown, when numbers spiked a little bit, it got a little looser. And now we're in what they call tier 2. So you're not supposed to gather in groups of more than 5. You're not supposed to do these things, but nobody's enforcing any of that. Tourism is open again, so people can come in. I see tourists all over the place, and it's good. I'm glad. It's good for the economy. A lot of people like keep the tourists out. But my feeling is that I think this thing is like, I think if you're healthy and have a strong immune system, then you'll survive. Kids, I mean, the possibility of a kid dying is like 99.999% that kid will die. So I think schools should be open. The dangerous part is the elderly. So now there's a vaccine that's come out. It's January. I think it came out at the end of December. And that's supposed to help with the severity of COVID-19. So all the frontline workers are getting it as we speak. Firemen, nurses, police, that kind, doctors. So I think the next stop should be like old folks' homes, elderly homes, retirement centers, because those are the people at highest risk. Makes sense to me. So anyway, as we come out of this, hopefully, as we come out of this whole COVID thing, and now that we're into the present, 2021, I'll talk a little bit about that. But those were the things that some of the things that I learned in 2020. Oh, one other thing. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and YouTube channels about the differences between men and women. And I did so primarily because I wanted to understand why I was getting divorced for the second time. Like, what was that? So it was more of a deep dive into myself to figure it out. But what I found was that there's a reason why the divorce rate is like almost 80% in the United States, well over 50%. There's a reason why when people get married, sex tends to kind of stop or get much less or stop completely. There's a reason why, I don't want to get myself into too much hot water on this one because I don't want to like have you guys check out on me. But maybe it'll make you guys check in. So there's a reason why there's a sexual marketplace. Why, if you look at Instagram, why you see girls post a certain way and guys post a certain way. Because of their sexual marketplace values on both sides. You'll look at guys post that a lot of things that they're doing. They post that things away. They post the things that they're looking at. Some guys, post the abs or whatever, they post their muscles or whatever, right? Girls will post a lot of tits and ass. Just an observation, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for feminism. There's a reason for what they call a term, toxic masculinity. Like it's bad to be a guy. And these are things that have been conditioned into us for a long time through movies, Disney, you got to bend the knee and be chivalrous for women, all these types of things. But all of these things, like, I think that women want strong guys, and I think over my last marriage, my 25-year marriage, it started off that way, where I was like, I do my thing. I don't ask for permission. I just do. And the more I bent the knee for my wife, so to speak, the less she respected me, So it became about money. And then when it was not about money anymore, just a total lack of respect. And then I started thinking about why am I even married? Like, what am I doing? We're not intimate. We she's not happy. I'm not happy. Why are we doing this? It's like, I'm not doing it anymore. That was, that was the beginning. So that was another thing I learned is all these differences between men and women and the dynamics of it and how that carries into business and everything else is very, very interesting. Okay, so 2021, excited for it. Excited for it because I have new lenses on. I have a different perspective and a different outlook of it. Um, my divorce is going to be completed, guaranteed in 2021. I have a whole other, I can't see it lasting another year. It's almost completed now, thank God. And I'll be liquid and ready to do some moves, rebuilding my life again for the second time. And I'm excited about it because I just see the world differently now. I don't need material things. I think material things are great. I got it, but I'm getting rid of so much stuff in my house right now that I got back. So I realize that I can get rid of all that crap. I don't need it because I want to be light. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to look around and invest in stuff and move and work. So 2021, I'm excited for the freedom and the liberty to do that kind of stuff. I'm excited for our team because we've got a lot of stuff going on. We have individual like fitness challenges and weight loss challenges and body composition challenges going on. And the team is growing and I'm happy about that. I'm happy about other people's success. It's great. I'm excited about my own fitness level. I'm excited about the opportunities that are going to come around from just being free, open, not weighted down, and open to abundance and possibilities, man. I'm stoked. So those are some of the things that we got going on as far as the work. I got travel plans coming up very soon. Can't wait to go. What else I got? This video, YouTube. I'm gonna continue doing this. So if you haven't subscribed to me, as they say in these things, like the video, subscribe to my channel. There's gonna be at least one video a week coming out, probably on Sundays, just discussing all the things like this, all this kind of stuff. Probably not as long as this one. This is like a year-end review one. What else? What else I got going on? YouTube channel, yeah, pretty excited about that. Continuing to pursue excellence, get healthier, be surrounded by great people, loyal people, committed people, building a team of people that want to be healthy, that want to be surrounded by greatness like that. It's exciting to me. That's what I got going on. The financial freedom part of it is huge too. Thank goodness for the business that we're in because it pays residually. And I think my outlook on 2020 and even now with the pandemic would have been hugely impacted as far as stress levels and finances and all this stuff had I not started doing this business with a bunch of great people. So thank you, Mark Hughes. You're the founder of Herbalife, and I appreciate you, love you. And man, it's without this, it would have been a heavy year financially, stress-wise. So continuing to build business in 2021 and have fun doing it. I'm excited about that. Those are some of the things that I got going on. 2021, what is my forecast for the rest of this year? So for 2021, I think that there's a lot of uncertainty with who's going to get into the presidential office. And I think that regardless of who gets in, we have to fix our election system. Otherwise, this country is going to tank. There's no more democracy when you don't have a free and fair election system that the people believe in. So I don't give a shit who gets elected at this point. It's just we got to fix this problem. So I think that if that doesn't get fixed, 2021 and beyond is going to suck in the United States. And so I don't mind the possibility of moving to a different country. I'm single. I have freedom. Why not? So I will go where I am treated best. And if the United States doesn't, and that might sound like bad if you're from the United States, and because I'm a full-on patriot. Like I served our country. I cry when the national anthem comes on. But I tell you what, if we get somebody in office that's going to jack our taxes up to the point where it's ridiculous to pay for stuff that I feel is ridiculous, brothers and sisters, I am out of here. I will find a different country that treats me better. I won't renounce my citizenship in the United States, and I'll probably have land. I'll keep my land on the Big Island, but I'm not gonna stay in a place that's gonna like rip me off, financially every single year, and then make me do things that I don't agree with. Frick that, I'm out of here. So I think that the election system has to be fixed. I think that if Joe Biden gets in, and I'm not saying who I voted for, it could mean higher taxes. It probably will mean higher taxes. So go figure. Okay. I think that the dollar is going to weaken. Um, and I also believe that this is my forecast. I think that Bitcoin, I think that natural, like precious metals, gold, silver, things like that, are going to rise because of the falling dollar. Um, I think that real estate, although it's like at this all-time high right now, just like the stock market, it cannot continue to go up like this. It's all propped up. Fake interest rates are like ridiculously low. The Fed is like near zero. That's unheard of. I mean, look at economies that have done that. They're not doing very well right now. Japan is still recovering from the 80s. They're at zero. It's not a good idea. I'm no financial PhD or anything like that, economist, but I I've seen 2 cycles of real estate that have collapsed, and this one, it's not going to last. So I want to be liquid, and I want to be able to invest, and I want to be able to invest not just here in Hawaii but other places. So I'm traveling. So that's my forecast for 21. I'm traveling. I'm looking around, getting my boots on the ground. I'm going to check it out. Um, and we'll see. We'll see. But I will go where I'm treated best for sure. What else? I think that there's going to be tremendous opportunity for people that are prepared. Meaning, tremendous opportunity for people that aren't tied into a job that they think they're secure with. Because as we've seen in 2020 with the pandemic, a lot of people with jobs that they thought that they were secure in disappeared. There's still a ton of people unemployed out there. There's a huge need for people with solutions for great health and income opportunity, which is what we do. And I think that the opportunity is going to get greater. They're talking about, they already have actually locked down California again, where they're talking about like putting people in prison for being outside or not complying. It's getting more and more to a state of like a communist socialist state. And that's bad news, man. That is bad news. So I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for people that are willing to capitalize on, for lack of a better term, the misfortunes that could turn into opportunities for other people. Does that make sense? So I think that because of the misfortunes of others, there will be opportunities for them as well as the people that have freedom already, or that are better prepared. Okay, so yeah. So prepare yourselves. I would, if you have, this is my opinion. I'm no actually, I'm just, this is my own personal opinion, you guys. Okay, don't just do, not that you would, but don't just do what I say. Okay, but check it out, do your own research. But for me, I have real estate that I can sell. I'm selling it because market prices are inflated to a point, and interest rates are reduced to a point of just insanity. It's not sustainable, so I'm going to cash out, and then I'll buy again later. So that's one thing that I would do, that I am doing to prepare for 2021. So we'll see how it goes. I'll continue these podcasts or these YouTube things. And yeah, I mean, we're all in this thing together. You know, love each other, tell each other that you love them, the people you care about. Pursue excellence in your own life. Prepare yourself to be free and liberated. Go where you're treated best. Be around people that treat you the best, and then cherish them. You know, like treat them well too. Be flexible. Yeah, you guys. I think that's it. I think I shot my load on that one because that's about all I got to say. So what I learned in 2019, 2020, what I'm doing now, currently, and what I predict for the future. I hope you guys have a great day. It is Sunday. The weather is beautiful over here. I hope it's beautiful where you're at as well. Love you, and I'll see you next time.